Pregame.com.
Pregame.tv, Steve Fezzik breaking down the NFL, and let's talk primetime. Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. Big thank you to Andy Iskoe, who ran the numbers. And long story short this year, if you are betting unders on those days, you are bankrupt. 22-6 to the over, I believe, on those games. And really, it's just been incredible how across the board, Thursday night's like 7-2, 6-2. Same with Sunday night, Monday night. If there's been one trend that's been consistent, it's all these games going over. I do not think it's an aberration, random flipping of the coins. I think there's something in play here. And I know Ken Thompson will talk about that when he breaks down the Battle of Ohio, Cincinnati against Cleveland later this week on pregame.tv. Let me talk about my observations and what I see. I see a complete difference in, first off, with the players' attitudes. If it's a Sunday morning game and there's a punt that's high up in the air, the kick returner goes ahead and does the fair catch. If it's Sunday night or Monday night, he fields it in traffic and tries to make the big play. And I actually think that's optimal from a personal perspective also. Yes, I'm risking a little injury. I could fumble. I also could make the big play. But the bottom line is, with the bright lights on, if I can run that kick back, it's really, really good for me, my brand, and it makes sense to go for it. So you see that consistently with all the kick returners. Similarly with players, do they want to be seen on primetime going out of bounds, or am I going to cut up the field, try to pick up some extra yardage? And consistently, all these little things seem to be adding up to more and more points being scored. And I think that's a big reason why we're seeing such an explosion of scoring on these nights. Further, I'm going to talk about a Sunday game. Again, these numbers courtesy of Andy Iskoe, the logical approach, and over at pregame. Andy ran the numbers, and I believe it's 5 games more unders than overs on Sunday day games in the NFL. And I think that the Charger-San Diego game kind of sums this up, why that's the case. If this was a Monday night game, San Diego is getting their butt kicked. 37-0. I think the final score might well be 44-14, flies over. But what happens, because it's a day game in Miami, they go ahead, the Chargers go ahead and give up on it. McCoy puts up the white flag, takes some of his starters out, and because of that, with Rivers out of the game, both sides do the cease hostilities, as Kang said in Star Trek in the episode Day of the Dove. You don't do anything, I don't do anything. Let's get out of here without anyone getting hurt. And that's exactly what happened. That San Diego game ends 37-0. And that sort of thing just doesn't happen on Monday night. You look at Indianapolis, they're crushing the Giants. Both teams just keep scoring in the fourth quarter of that game after a scoreless or after a lower scoring first half. And you consistently see that on all these primetime games again and again. They play all 60 minutes. There's no giving up, even when it's a blowout. And frankly, you got to be crazy to play one of these games right now to go under the total. And it's actually really hurting a lot of the pros in town, because what happens is you're getting outstanding bargains on everything. On the totals might be 51 in faraway places at the sharpest books. You can always find a 52, even a 53 here in Las Vegas. The individual team totals, you'll see that they'll be lined correctly, but you'll get plus 115s on the unders on these two teams. So I know a lot of guys that have just gotten sickened by Thursday, Sunday, Monday night games just playing the numbers. They go ahead and play all what seem to be really, really good value bets on prop bets, and they have lost. And I think a good way around that is shop for the very best number you can and play a big bet on the over to offset some of these other bets you kind of have to make, because they're scalpable. You could play them and play them right back against the sharp books in the world and eke out a small profit. And it's amazing how, in this case, I really think the math guys in the sharp books and the sharp winning bettors have it wrong. They're running all their math models, which are landing them on the under, but the math models don't work, because the key parameter that's not being included is how much more aggressive the players are, how much more aggressive the coaches are, and how teams go ahead and play the final 60 minutes, and not just for the game, but the final 30 minutes. At the end of a first half, very often, on a Sunday game, I'll see a coach on his own 12-yard line run the ball twice, run out the clock. On Sunday Night Football, he's on his own 12. He's winging the ball all over the place because he doesn't want to be seen as being an ultra-conservative coach, which that reputation is negative for a coach, and he doesn't want that to occur, and he wants to be known as being aggressive. So I see more and more and more of that, and that's why, just in terms of no best bet today, but did want to discuss, make everyone aware of it. The one thing I can't explain this, if you guys can explain it, I would like to know. The market is not jumping on this at all. You would expect every Thursday night, every Sunday night, every Monday night game, money would pour in on the overs because of this recent trend that really isn't that recent. It's been working for years, and it just hasn't happened. And I just think what's happening there is that the math guys who have made tons of money betting the mathematical right play are just dwarfing the market. So the public is betting the over and making money. And the reason I say that, you look in Vegas, like I said, last night, you had a situation where with the Giants and the Colts, the totals across the board in Vegas are 51.5 and 52 in faraway places. It's painted 51. So what's happening is that when people betting offshore, they're betting over, the sharps are betting under 51 because they don't live here. And here in Vegas, the squares, the recreational players are playing over 52, and amazingly, it's the recreational players who are playing over 52 that are cashing their tickets at the end of the third quarter, whereas the sharps are drawing dead at the same time with their what appears to be the right side. So something to be aware of with your handicapping. And one other item I would say, as far as a subset, if you are an under player, probably you do just fine still playing unders on Sunday, even with the greater penalties, because the totals are being dealt so much higher on the NFL games. And of course, divisional games tend to trend a little bit lower scoring as well versus non-division games, especially AFC versus NFC inter-conference games. So thanks for joining us each and every week here, pregame.tv. Again, Ken Thompson will talk about this phenomenon, primetime overs, Battle of Ohio, Cincinnati, Cleveland. Do check that out later on. I am merely Steve Fezzik. It's 2014. I'm up 112 units year to date. I'm going for a big year. Thanks again.